Yo, what's happening here? Looks like some serious power-up is about to go down. Twisted, huh? Let's see what kind of crazy comes out of this. Whoa, hold up! Things just got real serious. Looks like someone's about to get wrecked, and our guy's ready to throw down. If you wish to kill me... Oh, it's on. Damn, the tension is thick. You can cut it with a knife. Just look at those faces. This ain't no game anymore. Someone's about to get seriously messed up. Bam! There it is. No more talk, all action. Looks like someone underestimated our guy, and they're paying the price. That's gotta hurt. Whoa, bloody hands and a cryptic message. You are... What? You are what? The suspense is killing me. This is just getting started, and I gotta know what happens next. Okay, so things just took a weird turn. He's looking... smug? And who's this Cass? And why are they beautiful and unattainable as ever? Is this a love triangle now? What just happened? I'm so confused but hooked. Uh-oh, she's seen it all. The blood, the smirk. She knows something's very wrong. And that look in her eyes? Pure shock, and is that fear? This just went from 0 to 100 real fast. Oh, hell no, he's coming for her and calling her a damn bitch. This is about to get brutal. She better run, fight something. This ain't over, not by a long shot. What? Engagement breaking. Requirement. Decaleon's death? So that's what this is all about. It was a setup from the start. He had to die for the engagement to break. Talk about a twisted game? This is insane. Wait, what? Stage clear? Congratulations? It was all a game? Or a simulation? A test? So all that drama, the blood, the betrayal, it wasn't even real? Mind blown. But seriously, what was that? Okay, so the game, or whatever that was, is working now. It's finally not glitching anymore. But what does that even mean? Was the whole thing a glitch? Is this the real world now? I need answers. What's the next stage? Right, so it was a glitch, a bug in the engagement-breaking story route. Took ages to fix. So all that insane drama was just a programming error? But does that mean there's a real version of that story? And what happens now? This developer's clearly got some explaining to do. Ah, and there's the man behind the madness. Kim Woo-jin, character/scenario designer. So he's the one responsible for that whole crazy glitchy mess. But is he a good guy? A bad guy? A totally clueless developer? I still have so many questions. What's his story, Kim Woo-jin? Finally, some relatable content. Poor Kim Woo-jin is stuck in endless overtime. He looks exhausted, so the guy who created that whole twisted, violent, romantic glitch fest is just a tired programmer? I guess even reality-bending developers need a break. But is this the end, or is he going back into the code? Boom! Title drop. I am a game developer, and the villain wants to live? So that's the game he's been working on, the one with the crazy engagement-breaking glitch. But which one's the villain, and why do they want to live? Is this a redemption story? A survival story? This is just the beginning, and I'm already hooked. Let the game begin. All right, console game developer, crew. So he's not just any game dev. He's working on console games, big leagues, and he's part of the crew, not flying solo. This is getting more official. I wonder what kind of console and who else is on his team. Whoa, backstory time. So this REW company, they're huge. Came out of nowhere in the Korean console game scene, which is apparently a wasteland, and they're just cranking out hit after hit. Worldwide popularity? These guys are the rock stars of the gaming world. I wonder what kind of hits are published by REW. I'm even more intrigued about Kim Woo-jin's place in all this. Holy moly, the stakes just got insanely high. So that glitchy, engagement-breaking scenario? It's part of Rue's newest game, a AAA title that cost them everything. This is a make-or-break moment for the whole company. No wonder Woo-jin was pulling all-nighters. The pressure must be unreal. This is bigger than just a game. It's about survival. Exactly. A game that will make or break us all. The pressure cooker is officially on. And 11 hours of playtime, huh? Even with all those glitches? That is a long game. Kim Woo-jin's looking at that screen like his whole life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. This is it. The final test. The final... this is key. Story and difficulty changes depending on the player's decisions. That's huge. No two playthroughs are the same. That explains the engagement glitch. It's a whole branching path. This game is ambitious, complex. And now I really get why that one bug was such a nightmare. This is next-level game design. Okay, now we're talking. This isn't just some button masher. It's a single-player experience with an intricate story. And get this, intelligent AI for the characters. That's why that whole scene felt so real, even when it was glitching. They're not just pre-scripted, they react. The whole world's eyes on us. No pressure, Woo-jin. This is revolutionary stuff. Whoa, the scope of this game. Plenty of jobs to choose from. And not just the usual stuff. Knight, mage, sure. But devil, devil hunter, noble, king. You can basically live out any fantasy life you want. This isn't just a game, it's a whole world. The replay value alone must be insane. Exactly that. The game is truly an open world. The player can become anyone they wish to be in the game. Total freedom. That is crazy. I'm getting a clearer picture of this. I need to know if Kim Woo-jin will overcome and be able to be free of overtime. Cha-ching, there's the motivation. Swimming in money if the game gets proper recognition. So it's not just about saving the company, it's about hitting the jackpot. And that image, is that a king? Maybe one of the character options? Or the villain from the title? Either way, that's the prize, riches and glory. Woo-jin's overtime is an investment in a very lucrative future. Whoa, talk about high stakes. Reward comes with risks. If the game fails, the company is finished. No pressure, Woo-jin. It all makes a lot more sense now. I should check the character info first. And he's been pulling all-nighters for months? That explains everything. This is more than just a job. It's his life's work on the line. Bingo! There he is. Deculain von Grahan-Yud, senior professor, and the bastard that caused all the problems. So he's the key to the whole glitchy scenario, and Woo-jin finally cleared it without bugs. It all comes down to this guy. I guess the villain wants to live refers to him. But why did Woo-jin call him a bastard? What did Deculain do? Okay, a named villain and one of the mid-bosses of the game. So Deculain isn't even the final boss. He's a mid-boss. But a named villain, that means he's important. And that image, he's sitting on a throne, surrounded by skeletons. Definitely villain vibes. This guy is bad news, but he's just one piece of the puzzle. The real big bad is still out there. There it is, confirmation. Deculain is a major antagonist, and his roots have plenty of variables involved. That's why the engagement scenario was so glitchy. All those player choices, all the different ways he could react, it was a coding nightmare. But Woo-jin did it. He finally succeeded at killing him without any issues. That's a huge victory, but it's still just one step closer to launching this monster of a game. Brutal. The cause of his death this time is cut down by his fiancée. So that's the engagement-breaking scenario. It all comes back to that. She killed him to break it off. Cold-blooded, but effective. It makes sense now. That scene we saw before was a specific outcome of all those branching paths and variables. Woo-jin fixed the glitch that made that particular death possible. This is getting intense. Yes, validation. Well, it checks out. He did cause a ton of trouble throughout the episode. Woo-jin's exhausted, relieved, and probably a little bit vindicated. He knew Deculain was the problem, and he fixed it. This is a small victory, but a huge relief after months of overtime. He can finally lean back, but for how long? And there he is again, our weary protagonist, Woo-jin. Just his name hanging in the air. He's looking thoughtful, maybe a little bit lost. He's conquered one major challenge. But the game's not launched yet. What's he thinking? Is he already anticipating the next bug? The next all-nighter? The life of a game developer is never done. Uh-oh. Interruption. How's the test going? It's a coworker, maybe a supervisor. She's smiling, but that question hangs in the air like a threat. Woojin's moment of peace is over. He's back on the clock, and the pressure's back on. Time to face the music. Is he going to tell her about Declan? About the months of work? This could be another turning point. Could be another turn.
Formal introduction. This is Ara, the leader of my development team, and ominous and. So, she's not just a coworker, she's the boss, the one in charge. And that smile, is it friendly, supportive, or is there something else going on? That trailing and suggests there's more to their relationship than just boss-employee. What's the rest of that sentence, Woojin? And, plot twist, his team leader, Ra, isn't just his boss. She's his ex-girlfriend. Talk about awkward work dynamics. This adds a whole new layer of complexity to Woojin's already stressful situation. Is this going to make things easier or harder? Will she be supportive? Or will past relationship drama complicate things even further? This just keeps getting more interesting. Whoa, flashback time. We were together for 7 years, and every moment we shared was filled with joy. So Woojin and Ra weren't just a fling. They had a long, loving relationship. 7 years. That's a serious commitment. Seeing them happy together, it makes their current situation even more poignant. What went wrong? How did they go from this to exes working in the same high-pressure environment? The plot thickens. Aha! A clue to the breakup. Actually, she was a workaholic while I preferred lazing around. Opposites attract, but they don't always last. So that's a major difference between them. She's driven, ambitious, constantly working. He's, well, not. It's a classic case of conflicting priorities. This explains a lot. And look at Woojin now, ironically drowning in overtime because of her game. The irony is thick. Okay, plot twist number 2. But her drive to improve was what found me a job and pushed me to work for more and better. So, even though they were opposites, Ra's work ethic actually helped Woojin. She pushed him, got him this job at REW. He wouldn't even be here fixing this crucial game without her. This adds another layer to their complex relationship. She wasn't just his ex, she was his motivator. He owes her his career. And there it is, the inevitable. But eventually, we broke up. 7 years, a loving relationship, a shared career path, and it still ended. The image says it all. Them walking in opposite directions, Woojin with his head down, sad, simple, and final. But why? What was the final straw? The workaholic, lazy dynamic? Something else? The mystery deepens. Ouch. Self-awareness and regret. I was unable to change despite Ara's best efforts. So Woojin knows he was the problem, or at least a problem. Ara tried, she really did, but he couldn't, or wouldn't, meet her halfway. He's acknowledging his own flaws, his own responsibility for the breakup. That takes guts. But does it change anything? Is this a turning point for him, now, stuck in this high-pressure situation because of her game? Awkward ex-talk. I heard you were having a hard time because of bugs. Glad to see you pushed through. Ara's being professional, acknowledging his work, but that smile seems a little strained. And then, bam. It's been 6 months since the breakup. Time jump. And double whammy. I heard a rumor that there was someone new by her side nowadays. Ouch. Is she testing him? Bragging? Genuinely curious? This conversation is a minefield. How's Woojin going to react to that? The plot thickens, and the knife twists. Ara's now turning the tables. It looks like things are going well with the person you're seeing. She's heard rumors about him now, and that hem at the end, pure passive aggression. Is she jealous? Trying to make him jealous? Just making small talk? Whatever it is, Woojin looks completely caught off guard. This conversation just went from awkward to explosive. How's he going to respond to this? Oof, The tension is palpable. Rumors travel fast in this company as usual. Woojin's trying to play it cool. Well, I think it's going well, but that, from Ara speaks volumes. She's either unconvinced, unimpressed, or something else. And then Woojin's internal monologue. It sure is frustrating to hear that from her. He's not over her, he's still affected by what she thinks, what she says, who she's with. This is a mess of unresolved feelings, and it's all happening in the middle of a crucial game test. The drama is real. Double ouch! Ara just dropped the passive-aggressive bomb. Well, I pray you two reach the finish line and get married. That is not a sincere blessing, that's a challenge. And then, the immediate follow-up. Stop being so petty and continue with your work. She's pulling the boss card, shutting down the conversation and reminding him of his place. This is ice cold. Woojin's just been publicly and professionally dismantled by his ex. The workplace drama is reaching critical levels. And the hits just keep on coming. Just when Woojin's reeling from the ex-girlfriend encounter, more work. Oh, by the way, the writer said they changed the setting and wants us to change some of the character models. It never ends. And the other developer's reaction. Again? Geez. Every day there's a new change. Pure, relatable frustration. This is the reality of game development. Constant changes, constant pressure, constant work. Woojin's never going to get that break, is he? Back to Deculane. Speaking of characters, is he really a mid-boss? Players could kill him early on if they're lucky. Now they're questioning the game's design. This highlights the whole player choice aspect. Even a mid-bosses isn't guaranteed to survive. It's all about strategy, skill, and maybe a little bit of luck. This conversation could spark a whole new round of changes. Woojin's work is never truly done. More Deculane details. He gets stronger the more you advance in the story. So he's not a static boss. He evolves. That explains the variables and the glitches, and the player's choices directly impact the game's difficulty. This is a dynamic system, constantly changing based on how you play. It's ambitious, complex, and terrifying from a developer's perspective. No wonder Woojin's stressed. He's trying to control chaos. What? Plot twist of all plot twists. But did you know? This character's design is based on you. And Ara's saying this to Woojin. So Deculane, the glitchy, problematic mid-boss villain, is based on Woojin himself? The guy who's been working day and night to fix him? That's mind-blowing. Is it his looks? His personality? His past? This changes everything. Why did the writer do this? Is this some kind of meta-commentary? Woojin's reaction is going to be priceless. And Ara's just laying it on. You really didn't notice while modeling him? You both have the same cheesy look. She's teasing him, but it's also a serious revelation. Woojin was so focused on the code, he didn't see the character staring back at him. And his defense, but I've only ever met the writer a couple of times. So, it's not like the writer knows him well. This is getting weirder and weirder. Is it a coincidence? A deliberate jab? A deeper meaning? I need answers, Woojin. Whoa! Ara's got a dark side. That's why whenever I play the game, I always start off by killing him. She's talking about Deculane, the character based on Woojin, and she enjoys killing him off. Is this playful banter? A subconscious expression of resentment? Or just a gamer enjoying the game? Whatever it is, Woojin's shocked reaction says it all. What was that? He's clearly not comfortable with this. This adds another layer of unsettling weirdness to their already complicated dynamic. Things are getting very personal, very fast. Ara doubles down. Well, your personalities are similar. She's not just talking about the looks anymore. She's saying Woojin is like Deculane in character. And then, the flashback to Deculane's death scene, his final words, "Damn bitch." Woojin's horrified reaction. Really? I'm similar to the guy whose final words are "damn bitch." He's clearly offended, and rightfully so. Being compared to a villain is one thing, but being compared to a misogynistic villain, that's a low blow. This conversation is exploding. Is Ara deliberately trying to hurt him? Or is she just being brutally honest? Back to business, sort of. Anyway, let's stop slacking off. Ara's trying to regain control of the conversation, pulling it back to the game, but the tension from their personal issues is still there. Woojin's honest opinion. The game itself is fun, but I'm concerned about how the company's survival depends on it. He's acknowledging the stakes, the pressure, and Ara's response? You don't have to worry about stuff like that. Is she being dismissive, reassuring, or is she just trying to keep him focused on the technical side, not the existential threat to their jobs? This conversation is a masterclass in subtext. False confidence? The gameplay trailer got people around the world excited, so it's definitely not going to flop. Woojin's trying to be positive, but that betrays his doubt. He wants to believe it'll be a success, but he knows the risks. He's seen the glitches, the problems, the sheer scale of the project. He's trying to convince himself as much as Ara. This isn't confidence, it's hope, and maybe a little bit of denial.
A young man with dark hair sits at his desk, resting his chin on his hand as he gazes at his computer screen. His expression is a mix of curiosity and amusement. Behind him, a young woman with long, light-colored hair, dressed in office attire, stands with a surprised expression. She places a hand on her hip, eyes wide as she reacts to what she sees on the screen. The dim blue lighting of the office casts a cool glow over the scene. Whoa, shift in perspective. See him? The guy waiting next to his car. Suddenly, we're outside looking in. It's dark, late, and someone's waiting. It's already this late. Time has flown by. Is this the someone new in Ara's life? Is he waiting for her? Is this a threat, a rival, or something completely unexpected? The tension just ratcheted up again. This is a classic cliffhanger moment. It is about Ara. What are you standing around for? Don't make him wait any longer. The speaker is another game character? One of the higher-ups, maybe? He's telling someone, presumably Wu Jin, though it could be another employee, to go to Ara's waiting someone. Is this an order? A suggestion? A threat disguised as politeness? The power dynamic here is unclear, but it's definitely charged. This is more than just a ride home. It's a command performance. Things are getting very interesting. Confirmation and command. You should go to him. It's directed at Wu Jin, and it's not a suggestion. It's an order. He's being told to go to Ara's potential new partner. This is incredibly awkward and potentially humiliating. Why is he being ordered to do this? Is it a test? A power play? Is this still part of the game? Or is this real-world manipulation? Wu Jin's about to walk into a situation that's way beyond his control, and the tension is sky high. Resignation and obedience? You're right. Then I'll be leaving now. Wu Jin's accepting the order, but there's no fight in him. He's deflated, defeated. He's going to do what he's told, even though it's clearly painful. This isn't the reaction of a jealous ex. It's the reaction of someone who's been ground down by work, by a broken relationship, and by the sheer weight of the situation. He's going through the motions, but his spirit is broken? This is a low point for our protagonist. Final dismissal? Good work today, Wu Jin. Ara's parting words are polite, professional, but utterly cold. There's no warmth, no hint of their past relationship. It's the standard farewell of a boss to an employee, nothing more. And that wave, it's almost dismissive. She's moving on, both professionally and personally, and Wu Jin's being left behind. This is a clear statement. Their relationship is over, and the workplace is all that's left. Ouch. The emotional roller coaster ends on a downward slope. Finality as goodbye. A simple word but loaded with meaning. It's not good night. It's not see you tomorrow. It's goodbye. Wu Jin's echoing Ara's farewell, but it feels much more significant. This isn't just the end of a workday. It feels like the end of an era. He's accepting the situation, acknowledging the separation, and maybe finally letting go. The single word, the downward gaze, the soft lighting, it all speaks of closure, resignation, and a quiet sadness. This is a powerful, understated ending to a very emotionally charged chapter. Tick-tock. The clock is ticking, and it's late. Almost 8 p.m. under a full moon. The OV sound, the ticking clock, it all creates a sense of time running out, of deadlines looming. This is the aftermath of the emotional storm, and now we're back to the reality of Woojin's situation. He's still at work, still alone, and still facing an uncertain future. The quiet ticking emphasizes the emptiness, the loneliness, and the pressure that's still hanging in the air, even after Avra's departure. Back to the grind. Let's get back to checking Decalean. A sigh of resignation, a weary acceptance. Woojin's pushing aside the emotional turmoil and diving back into work. Decalean, the character based on him, the source of so much trouble, is still his priority. He's alone, it's late, and he's facing the screen again. This is his life now. Endless work, endless debugging, endless Decalean. The cycle continues. The shock and disbelief are real. But is the writer serious? He's supposed to be me? Woojin's still grappling with the revelation that Decalean, the villain, is based on him. He's staring at the character model, seeing his own features, his own cheesy look, reflected in this problematic, antagonistic character. It's a moment of profound self-reflection, bordering on an existential crisis. Is this how others see him? Is this how he sees himself? The question hangs in the air, unanswered and deeply unsettling. Diving deep into the game mechanics, he's got 6 traits, and he has both prodigy and mediocre mage. Woojin's analyzing Decalean's stats, the in-game attributes that define him, and it's a contradiction. Prodigy suggests exceptional talent. Mediocre mage suggests, well, mediocrity. This internal conflict, this mix of strength and weakness, is built into the character's design. And since Decalean is based on Woojin, is this a reflection of his own self-doubt, his own perceived flaws? The game mechanics are becoming a mirror, forcing Woojin to confront his own complexities. Decalean's backstory. During his childhood, Decalean was praised for his genius and touted as a magic prodigy. But in reality, he was more mediocre than it first seemed. This explains the contradictory traits. He was perceived as a genius, but his actual abilities were lacking. And this gap between perception and reality, combined with his pride and arrogance, his lore, and his upbringing as a high-ranking noble, created the villain. It's a story of inflated ego, unmet expectations, and a fall from grace. And since Decalean is based on Woojin, is this a commentary on Woojin's own fears? His fear of not living up to expectations? The connection is getting deeper and more disturbing. Ouch! Decalean's personality traits are laid bare, and it's not pretty. Worst possible personality in all humankind. Elitist, germaphobe, systematic, competitive, noble etiquette, sensitive, authoritative, pretense and composure, strong mentality. These are overwhelmingly negative traits, painting a picture of a cold, arrogant, and unlikable character. And Woojin is seeing himself in this list. It's a brutal assessment, and it's coming from the game he's working on, a game written by someone who supposedly barely knows him. The question, actually, can he even be called human hits that the character, possibly Woojin's reflection, is not a good person. This is more than just game design. It's a personal attack, intentional or not. This is a breaking point, and it would break anyone. Repetition and emphasis. They say he gets stronger the more the story advances. This line, presented on its own, reinforces the dynamic nature of Decalean. He's not a fixed entity. He's constantly evolving, becoming a greater threat as the game progresses. It's a reminder of the challenge Woojin faces, not just fixing a bug, but understanding and controlling a character that's designed to be unpredictable and increasingly powerful. It's a statement of the core game mechanic and a subtle foreshadowing of the challenges to come. Isolation and loathing. But at the end of the day, he is without exception surrounded by people who despise him. This is the tragic core of Decalean's character, and, by extension, perhaps a reflection of Woojin's fears. Despite his power, his position, his prodigy status, he's utterly alone. The faceless figures surrounding him emphasize this isolation. He's surrounded by hate, not support. This is a powerful statement about the consequences of Deculane's personality and a chilling reflection on the potential loneliness of Woojin's own life, trapped in his work, estranged from his ex-girlfriend. It's a bleak, powerful image. The developer's dilemma. Is there anything else I can add to his traits or personality? Things that wouldn't be noticeable. Woojin's back at his computer, staring at Deculane, and he's still tweaking, still refining, still searching for that perfect balance of challenge and realism. He's not satisfied, even after fixing the major bugs. He's looking for the subtle details, the things that wouldn't be noticeable, the nuances that make a character truly believable, even a villain. This is the endless quest of a game developer, the pursuit of perfection, even in the smallest details. He is looking at the abyss and trying to get answers. The weight of realization. I am the reference for him, after all. Woojin's finally fully accepting the truth. It's not just a rumor, not just Ara's teasing. He is Deculane. The hand hovering over the mouse, the slight flinch, it's a moment of profound self-awareness, and it's not a comfortable one. He's been wrestling with this character, fixing his bugs, analyzing his traits, and all along, he's been looking in a mirror. The after all suggests a reluctant acceptance, a dawning understanding of something he's been avoiding. This is a turning point. He can't unsee this connection now. What will he do with it? A glimmer of redemption? Let's see. Here's a trait, understanding. Woojin's considering adding a positive trait to Deculane, something that might make him more human. Would this give him sympathy or empathy? He's questioning the impact of this change, wondering if it will make the players connect with the villain, rather than just despise him. This is a huge shift. He's no longer just fixing bugs, he's actively trying to reshape the character that's based on him. Is this a subconscious desire to redeem himself? To make Deculane, and by extension, himself, more relatable, more forgivable? This is a fascinating development. Woojin's going all in. Good, let's do this. You should at least become more sympathetic than me. He's directly addressing Deculane, and, by extension, himself. He's not just adding understanding, he's adding wealthy magnate and Midas touch. He's giving the villain power, influence, and the ability to get anything he wants. Is this wish fulfillment? Is he trying to create a better version of himself, even if it's through a villain? This sounds good. He's invested in this change, and he is making the character more than himself, as he says. At least become more sympathetic than me. This could backfire spectacularly, making Deculane even more dangerous. Or it could add a layer of tragic complexity to the character. Either way, Woojin's no longer just a developer. He's a creator, actively shaping his own digital reflection. Second thoughts and self-doubt. I ended up overdoing it and added a bunch of stuff that looked nice. Now that I think again, I really shouldn't do this. Woojin's having a moment of clarity, or maybe just panic. He's gone from trying to make Deculane more sympathetic to, well, making him awesome. And now he's realizing that maybe, just maybe, he's gone too far. He's tampered with the core design, potentially unbalanced the game, and all because he got caught up in this weird, self-reflective character modification. That period at the end speaks volumes. He's questioning everything he's just done. This is the classic, oh no, what have I done? Moment of a creator. Damage control. I should restore him to his original state before anything happens. Woojin's decided to undo his changes, to revert Deculane back to his original, problematic self. The frantic typing sound effect emphasizes his urgency. He's realized the potential consequences of his actions, the risk of unbalancing the game, and maybe the danger of projecting too much of himself onto the villain. This is a moment of responsibility, of putting the game's integrity above his own personal issues. He's choosing to be a developer, not a self-indulgent creator. But is it too late? Has he already saved the changes? The tension is back, and it's all about hitting that undo button. Disaster! Let's get you back to norm. Ding! The dreaded ding. A system notification, a pop-up, an error message. Something has interrupted Woojin's attempt to undo his changes, and his horrified expression, the sweat, the dash dash. It's pure panic. He was so close to restoring Decalane, but something stopped him. Was it a save? An auto-update? A new glitch? Whatever it is, it's bad news. The changes might be permanent. He might have just unleashed a super-powered, self-reflective villain onto the unsuspecting players. This is a developer's worst nightmare. Made real. The consequences are unknown, and Woojin is terrified. Of course, more complications. Holy shit, that really scared me. Woojin's still reeling from whatever that ding was, and now he's got a late-night message. Who's messaging me this late? And then the realization, wait, it's the scriptwriter, the very person who based Decalane on him. This is not good. Is it about the changes he made? About Decalane? About the game? Woojin's night just went from bad to potentially catastrophic. The timing is perfectly awful. He's vulnerable, panicked, and now he has to face the person who holds the key to his digital alter ego. This is going to be intense. Creepy and unsettling. The scriptwriter's message, first ultra accommodating. Ah, yes. Is there something about the model you'd like to change? Please tell me, and I'll change it for you right away. It's almost too eager, too subservient. And then, the chilling response. No, that's not it. I'm just here to watch. Just watch? What does that mean? Is this a power play? A threat? Is the scriptwriter observing Woojin's reaction to the changes? To Decalane? To everything? The single word watch and the unsettling sound, it creates a sense of being observed, controlled, and utterly powerless. Woojin's no longer in charge. He's a subject in someone else's experiment. This is deeply, deeply disturbing. Paranoia and frantic typing. What are they talking about? Woojin's internal monologue is racing. He's caught between the unsettling message from the scriptwriter, I'm just here to watch, and the knowledge that Decalane is based on him. He's spiraling, unsure who they are, what they know, and what's going to happen next. The rapid typing sound effect underscores his anxiety, his desperate attempt to regain control, to fix things before it's too late. He's trapped, observed, and completely in the dark. The suspense is at its peak. Confusion and a desperate attempt to regain control. We see the full chat log now. Woojin's frantic questions. I'm sorry? Logically, what do you mean? Зрение. Oh, хотели ли вы проверить на ошибки вместе? Are met with that chilling initial response. No, that's not it. I'm just here to watch. He's trying to rationalize to find a logical explanation for the scriptwriter's unsettling message, offering a perfectly reasonable explanation for the late-night contact. He wants it to be about work, about bugs, about something he understands. But the previous message hangs there, a constant, ominous reminder that it's not about work. He's grasping at straws, trying to steer the conversation back to familiar territory. But the underlying sense of dread remains. He is afraid of the answer. Pure, unadulterated dread. The scriptwriter's response, ha ha ha, keep and hires, nope, look out the window. This is terrifying. It's playful, casual, and utterly menacing. The ha 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 is chilling. The emoticon adds a layer of unsettling cheerfulness, and the nope dismisses Woojin's attempts to control the conversation. And then the command, look out the window. It's a direct order, a violation of his personal space, and a clear indication that he's not in control. The scriptwriter isn't just watching the game. They're watching him. This is a full-blown horror movie scenario. Whatever's outside that window is going to be bad. The single high-pitched ping sound effect amplifies the shock and fear. This is a perfect cliffhanger. Suspense and dread, building to a terrifying climax. No, out the window? Woojin's confusion and fear are palpable. He's repeating the scriptwriter's unsettling command, questioning it, trying to make sense of it. What's there to see out? The question is cut off, unfinished, adding to the sense of unease and anticipation. He doesn't want to look, but he has to. The incomplete sentence, the hesitant gaze, the subtle sound effect, it all builds the suspense to an almost unbearable level. We, the readers, are right there with him, holding our breath, dreading what he, and we, are about to see. The masterful use of silence and incomplete thoughts makes this moment incredibly effective. The view outside Woojin's window is a scene of apocalyptic chaos, ripped straight from the game, a stormy sky, swirling clouds, and flashes of lightning. The digital world has somehow merged with reality. His changes have broken the game, and possibly the world. Woojin, in a single panel, is speechless. He can only utter a bewildered, "Huh?" Component placement as his eyes reflect the impossible storm now raging outside his window, a storm that should only exist within the game he was developing. What is that? Woojin's question hangs in the air, a mix of disbelief and dawning horror. The impossible storm rages, lightning illuminating the swirling vortex in the sky. Why does the sky... He can't even finish the sentence. The game, his creation, Decaline. It's all bleeding into reality. The sound of the storm is the only response, a terrifying confirmation that this isn't a glitch. It's real. Have a hole in it. Woojin's words are cut short, an incomplete observation, as a blinding light erupts from the vortex in the sky. The reality is tearing apart. The visual of the piercing light, combined with the unfinished sentence, creates a moment of intense shock and disruption. It's not just a storm, it's a breach, a catastrophic merging of the game world and his own. The sound effect underscores the raw power and destructive force unleashed. A monstrous silhouette emerges from the chaotic tear in the sky, a being of immense power, wreathed in crackling, otherworldly purple energy. Its roar, a deafening, inhuman sound, shatters the night. The game is no longer contained, it's real, and the creature, a terrifying manifestation of Woojin's digital creation, is loose in the world. What's going on? Woojin's panicked question echoes in the void, his outstretched hand a desperate, futile gesture against the monstrous figure descending upon him. The blurred, distorted visuals amplify the sense of disorientation and terror. Where? The question is lost, unfinished, swallowed by the encroaching darkness. He's lost, overwhelmed, and utterly at the mercy of the nightmare he unleashed. The use of red color and image being covered is perfect. He is being dragged is not a dream. Am I? The question, stark and desperate, hangs in the darkness. Woojin, small and insignificant against the backdrop of a monstrous, skull-like visage, is utterly lost. He's been ripped from his reality, plunged into the game world, and he doesn't even know where or what he is anymore. The image, with its vast emptiness and threatening figure looming above, perfectly captures his vulnerability and the terrifying scale of the unknown. He's not in control. He's a pawn in a game he no longer understands. Arch! A cry of pain and confusion escapes Woojin as he's enveloped in a chaotic swirl of energy and darkness. Who is this? The question is desperate, panicked. He's no longer in his office, no longer in control. He's been pulled into the game, into the very world he created, and he's facing something, someone, terrifying and unknown. The distorted visuals and the raw cry of pain emphasize his vulnerability and disorientation. He's completely at the mercy of the game. Remember this, child. You must always be on guard. The words, stark and commanding, appear as if from nowhere. A cryptic warning delivered to someone. The shift to a close-up of a character, seemingly from the game, adds another layer of mystery. Is this a flashback? A message from within the game? Is it directed at Woojin or someone else entirely? This sudden shift in perspective creates a sense of foreboding and raises more questions than it answers. The warning is clear. but its context is completely unknown, heightening the suspense. Deculion isn't someone so easy. The words stark and ominous hang in the air above a scene of utter devastation. He may be faltering for now, but he may rise again at any time. This is a chilling reminder of Deculane's power and resilience, and by extension, a warning about the unpredictable nature of the game itself. The ruined landscape, possibly the aftermath of the creature's arrival, underscores the danger. Even if Wu Jin thinks he's contained the threat, even if Deculane seems defeated, the potential for chaos remains. This is a clear statement of the game's core mechanic. Nothing is permanent, and the villain, Wu Jin's digital reflection, is always a threat. The threat is always there. He's simply balancing the scale of his own talents right now. The words presented against a backdrop of a powerful figure, Deculane presumably, and floating magical symbols suggest a complex game mechanic at play. He's not just getting stronger, he's balancing his talents, a strategic, calculated adjustment. This hints at a dynamic system where characters adapt and evolve, making them unpredictable and potentially even more dangerous. The visual of Deculane, walking towards the viewer, adds to the sense of impending threat. He's not defeated, he's recalibrating. He's a despicable villain after all. The words stark and judgmental are overlaid on a close-up of Deculane, his face marked by shadows and what appears to be blood. This is a clear statement of his nature, a reminder of his role in the game, and perhaps a reflection of Wu Jin's own internal conflict. The visual emphasizes his menacing presence, reinforcing the idea that he's not to be underestimated despite any perceived weaknesses. He's a villain, through and through, and that's a fundamental part of his design. Tonapi, wake up. The words, fragmented and then complete, emerge from a swirling, indistinct background. It's a classic awakening, a transition from unconsciousness to awareness. But in this context, after the chaos and terror Wu Jin has experienced, it's loaded with uncertainty. Is this a return to reality or another layer of the game? The ambiguity of the visual, the lack of any clear setting, heightens the suspense. He's waking up, but to what? Wake up this instant, Deculion. The command, sharp and forceful, shatters the previous ambiguity. This isn't a gentle awakening, it's a forceful summons. And the name, Deculane. Wu Jin is being addressed as the villain, the character he created, the one based on him. The ornate background, the formal attire of the speaker, it all confirms that he's no longer in his own world. He's fully immersed in the game, and he's being forced to inhabit the role of his own antagonist. The shift in identity is complete, and the implications are terrifying. A close-up reveals a single, striking blue eye, partially obscured by strands of dark hair. The eye, wide and alert, is the focal point, conveying a sense of awakening, surprise, and perhaps a hint of fear. This is Wu Jin, but it's also Deculane. The visual emphasizes the merging of identities, the blurring of the line between creator and creation. He's seeing the world through the eyes of his villain, and the world is looking back. How much longer will you laze around? The furious shout directed at Wu Jin as Deculane is a callback to his own past, to Ara's accusations of laziness. And you still dare call yourself human? This brutal question, echoing the earlier doubts about Deculane's humanity, hits even harder now that Wu Jin is inhabiting the villain's body. The shocked bystander in the background amplifies the intensity of the scene. He's not just in the game, he's trapped in a role that reflects his own perceived flaws, facing the scorn of those around him. He's being judged, and the judgment is harsh. Ah, I see. The words, a simple acknowledgement, are loaded with subtext. Wu Jin, now fully inhabiting Deculane, is reacting to the harsh rebuke, the accusation of laziness and inhumanity. But the image, a close-up of his hand, subtly clenched, and his body, suggests a controlled, almost cold response. This isn't the panicked, overwhelmed Wu Jin of before. This is Deculane, the arrogant, composed villain. He's accepting the role, the persona, and perhaps a part of himself. The understated reaction, combined with the visual cues, suggests a shift in his mindset. He's no longer just playing the game. He's becoming the character. It's been a few days since I possessed this body, but it still feels like a dream. The words convey a sense of unreality, of lingering disbelief. Wu Jin is acknowledging his new existence as Decalain, but he hasn't fully adjusted. The time jump, a few days, indicates that he's had some time to adapt, but the dream feeling persists. The image showing Decalain, Wu Jin, standing tall while the girl who berated him before now looks anxious, hints at the power dynamic shift. He's not just inhabiting the body, he's starting to exert the character's influence, even if he still feels like he's in a dream. The situation remains surreal, but he's beginning to navigate it. How much longer will you shut yourself away because of a single woman? The furious question, hurled at Deculain, Wu Jin, is dripping with aristocratic disdain. It's not just about laziness now, it's about honor, reputation, and the perceived weakness of romantic entanglement. Are you trying to sully our family name or what? This escalates the accusation, bringing in the weight of family legacy and social standing. Deculain's, Wu Jin's posture, slumped and seemingly defeated, contrasts sharply with the accuser's aggressive stance, highlighting the power imbalance and the intensity of the social pressure. The broken engagement from earlier, the one that caused this, has big consequences. This isn't just personal, it's a matter of family honor, and Wu Jin as Deculain is failing spectacularly. I'll leave the documents here, so if you don't want to get fired from that professor position you like so much, go and work. The words are a direct threat, cloaked in the guise of a practical suggestion. The young woman, having delivered her ultimatum, is now leaving, her posture exuding anger and disapproval. The dropped documents, symbols of Deculain's, Wu Jin's, neglected responsibilities, emphasize the consequences of his inaction. He's being forced to work, not out of duty or ambition, but out of fear of losing his position. The sound effect of her footsteps underscores the finality of her departure, leaving Wu Jin as Deculain alone with his predicament and the looming threat of professional ruin. He's being forced back into the role he's been neglecting, a role that now defines his very existence. A young man rests his head on his hand, his face partially obscured by his dark hair. Sunlight streams through a nearby window, casting a warm glow on him. Below, a text box narrates a past event, stating that 1 week ago, the night sky was suddenly illuminated by a mysterious light. And I woke up in an unfamiliar place, inside an unfamiliar body. The words, a stark statement of displacement, summarize Wu Jin's predicament. He's no longer himself. He's trapped in Decalain's body, in Decalain's world. The image, showing him sitting on a lavishly decorated bed, emphasizes the alien nature of his surroundings. This isn't his modest office or his own home. It's a place of luxury and privilege, a world of aristocratic expectations that he's utterly unprepared for. The simple statement, combined with the visual of unfamiliar opulence, perfectly captures the core of his isekai experience, a complete and jarring loss of self and place. As far as I can tell, I'm inside the world of the game I was developing. The statement is a confirmation of Wu Jin's worst fears and the central premise of the story. He's not just playing the game, he's living it. The ornate, almost overwhelming detail of the game world, shown in the image, underscores the completeness of his immersion. This isn't a glitch or a dream, it's his new reality. He's trapped in the very world he created, a world designed to be challenging, complex, and filled with dangers. The statement, delivered with a sense of dawning realization, marks the complete transition from developer to character, from observer to participant. His former life is gone, and the game is all that remains. The familiar scenery only further confirms my suspicions. The words overlaid on an image of a window view that looks straight out of the game solidify Wu Jin's new reality. It's not just the opulent room, it's the world outside that confirms his predicament. He recognizes it, not as a player, but as its creator. This is a chilling realization. He's trapped inside his own creation, surrounded by the very world he designed. now made real. The familiarity is not comforting. It's terrifying because it proves he's no longer in control. The game is no longer a game. It's his life. What's more, I'm in the body of a man. The statement, a mix of observation and understated shock, highlights the final, crucial element of Wu Jin's transformation. He's not just in the game, he's in Decalane's body. The image, a close-up of him adjusting his, Decalane's, clothing, emphasizes the physicality of this change. He's experiencing the world through a different physical form, a form that comes with its own history, personality, and relationships. This isn't just a change of scenery, it's a complete change of identity. He's no longer Wu Jin the developer. He's Deculanean the villain, trapped in a world he created, but no longer controls. The statement, delivered with a sense of quiet resignation, marks the complete and utter loss of his former self. Who cannot escape death no matter what route the world's story takes? The words, a chilling pronouncement of doom, are overlaid on an image of Decalanean, Wu Jin, adjusting his elaborate clothing. This is the final devastating piece of the puzzle. He's not just trapped in the game, not just in Deculane's body, but he's trapped in Deculane's fate, a fate that, in every version of the game, ends in death. The opulent surroundings, the fine clothes, are all meaningless in the face of this inescapable truth. He's living a life that's predetermined to end violently, no matter what choices he makes. This is the ultimate horror of his situation. He's trapped in a narrative he can't control, playing a role he can't escape, heading towards a death he knows is coming. The statement is the ultimate hook, the core conflict of the story, setting the stakes impossibly high. The worst character of them all. The stark, damning judgment hangs above an image of Decalane's, Wu Jin's gloved hands, a symbol of his new identity. This isn't just a description, it's a label, a condemnation. He's not just playing a villain, he's inhabiting the worst villain, the character most hated, most despised, most destined for a brutal end. The visual, focusing on the hands, suggests a loss of control, a sense of being trapped in a role he can't escape. He's no longer Wu Jin, he's the worst character, the villain, and that label defines everything he is and everything he will do. It is important to Wu Jin that is now trapped in the body of a character. Remember the past, he is not the character. I became the villain Deculanean. The words, a final, chilling acceptance of his new reality, mark the complete transformation. Wu Jin is gone, or at least, subsumed. He is Deculanean, the villain, the doomed character, the worst of them all. The image, a profile shot of Deculanean, Wu Jin, emphasizes the cold aristocratic features, the harsh lines, the very image of the antagonist he's now forced to be. This is the ultimate statement of identity theft, of a forced transformation, and of the seemingly inescapable fate that awaits him. The title drop solidifies his new role and sets the stage for the story to come. A struggle for survival against a predetermined narrative. In a world where he's the designated villain, he is no longer a game developer. Now he's the game. Now he's